welcome back to our plotting series. This is now part 7, if you can believe that. And I want to talk to you about the beginning of your editing process today. I usually find that the best thing for me to do after I have written my rough draft is to let it sit for a little while. I always call this, letting it marinate, which sounds kind of funny, but I guess it might be better than like let it ferment, because it has a completely different connotation unless we're talking about wine, in which case fermentation is a lovely thing. Letting your manuscript sit for a little while is a very important thing. I know it's hard to be patient sometimes. We want to jump right back into editing once we've finished, our celebration that our rough draft is done. But I would caution you to not do that and just let it sit. Even maybe 2 weeks even is long enough for you to then come back to it with fresh eyes. Okay, step 2 is read your manuscript like a reader. So I want you to then read all the way through it, enjoying the story, and only stopping briefly to make some notes along the way. So we're not talking about editing anything at this point. Make a note in the margins if something's unclear or you've realized you've made a mistake on something, right? Just don't stop and edit, make a quick note in the margin. Is there too much dialogue in a certain section? Usually that's not the case with most of us, but often it's too much narration. Should you split some of that up? Do you ever get bored? Is there something that's unclear? Those are the main things that you're going to want to look at. As you read through all the way to the end and you've got these notes on the side, then you can always come back and do some other things with the manuscript if you're suspecting that you may have, dropped a subplot, or you've said something in the manuscript where you've made a plot point implausible. We've all, done different things like that where you're like, oh, I've contradicted myself. Oh, I need to fix that, particularly if maybe you're writing a mystery and you're, putting lots of clues in there and red herrings. In particular, if you flagged any sections for being confusing or slow or whatever, you might want to then move on to this next step before you get into any deeper edits. Make notes about the main action in each chapter. Look at it and say to yourself, or ask yourself, does this move my story forward? Is this essential to the plot? And sometimes the answer is going to be no, and you're going to have to make a decision as to whether or not the chapter goes, or whether the bits and pieces you want to keep get incorporated into a chapter that actually does move the plot forward. The other thing you can do is take your plot diagram, the one that looks like a roller coaster, and note all your plot points across that diagram. It will help you see if you are doing things too quickly, or doing things too slowly, or maybe you've got something that's sagging in the middle and you're not hitting those plot points right. That's a nice tool, and it's fairly quick and easy to write all your plot points down on that diagram. At that point, then, you've done a really nice job setting yourself up for deeper edits if they're needed. This is your quick tutorial on beginning the edits and editing for plot before you get into any deeper rewrites or restructuring scenes. Following these steps should work well, no matter what genre you write in, just to get yourself set up for any deeper edits that your manuscript might need. Okay, so in September, we will be back with more editing techniques and tools and how to fix plot problems and more specific plot problems. So thanks for joining us for this series, and we will see you again in September.